In a fast-paced world where relationships become increasingly superficial and transient, there exists an ancient philosophy that can completely revolutionize your love life. An age-old wisdom that, when applied consistently, even for just 5 minutes daily, has the power to transform not only how you relate to women but your entire existence. I'm talking about Stoicism, this philosophical school that has traversed centuries and remains surprisingly relevant to the challenges of modern man. What I'm going to share with you today are not manipulative techniques or cheap psychological tricks. It's something much deeper and more powerful, a path to developing a masculine presence so centered, so authentic, and so magnetic that it will naturally make her feel drawn to the genuine connection that only you will be able to offer. Before we dive into the practical exercises, you need to understand the essence of Stoicism. Founded by Zeno of Citium in the 3rd century BC, this philosophy was later developed by great thinkers like Seneca, Epictetus, and the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Stoicism is not an abstract theory disconnected from reality. On the contrary, it's an intensely practical philosophy focused on how to live a virtuous and fulfilling life, regardless of external circumstances. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes from within, from the cultivation of virtue and wisdom, not from external factors like wealth, social status, or even the approval of others. And it is precisely this principle that forms the basis of the approach I will share with you today. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself anxious before sending a message to that special woman? How many times have you obsessed over whether or not she will respond? How many sleepless nights have you spent analyzing every word, every gesture, trying to decipher what she really feels for you? This emotional dependency, this constant need for external validation, is exactly the opposite of what Stoicism teaches, and paradoxically, is also what pushes women away the most. The first Stoic principle we will explore is emotional self-sufficiency. This is the foundation of everything that follows. For 5 minutes daily, I want you to consciously practice recognizing your inherent completeness. Sit in a quiet place, close your eyes, and breathe deeply. Now truly acknowledge that your happiness, your worth as a man, does not depend on any woman's response, does not depend on being in a relationship, does not depend on external achievements. This isn't an exercise in self-deception. I'm not asking you to pretend you don't care. What I'm proposing is a deep recognition that while relationships can add richness to your life, they are not the source of your identity or value. When you practice this exercise daily, something extraordinary begins to happen. Your desperate need for approval diminishes, and with it all those behaviors that naturally push women away. Insecurity, excessive jealousy, constant messaging, over-availability. And here's the irony. The less emotionally dependent you are on her, the more attractive you become. Women sense this instinctively. They perceive when a man is centered in himself, when he has a full life independent of them. This is one of the most powerful forces of attraction that exists. It's not manipulation, it's authenticity in its purest form. The second principle I want you to practice for 5 minutes daily is Stoic moderation applied to communication and presence. The Stoics deeply valued balance in all things, avoiding both excess and scarcity. Apply this principle to how you communicate with her and how you manage your presence in her life. For 5 minutes, consciously practice being fully present when you are with her, whether physically or in an online conversation. No distractions, no phone, no wandering thoughts. Just total presence, genuine listening, complete attention. And then equally practice serene detachment, giving space for her to miss you, for her to have the opportunity to come to you. This balance between intense closeness and respectful distance creates a powerful dynamic. Most men are at one of two extremes. Either they are completely absent and inaccessible, or they are overly present to the point of suffocating. The Stoic man cultivates the perfect balance, being fully present when he is with her, but also completely comfortable and engaged with his own life when they are apart. Remember, the space you create in the relationship is not a game or manipulative strategy. It's a genuine recognition that both you and she need individuality and autonomy for the relationship to be healthy. It's giving her the opportunity to miss you, to value the time you spend together precisely because it's not always available. The third Stoic principle that will transform your relationships is that of pure intention. The Stoics deeply believed that virtue was the only true good, and that our actions should be guided by virtuous intentions, not by expectations of reward. For 5 minutes daily, consciously practice appreciating her qualities without any expectation of return. This exercise is powerful because it goes against all the conditioning we receive about relationships. We are constantly bombarded with the idea of transaction. Do this to get that. Stoicism proposes something radically different. Value her for who she is, not for what she can offer you. During these 5 minutes, genuinely reflect on the qualities you admire in her. Perhaps it's her intelligence, her sense of humor, her kindness, or her determination. Appreciate these qualities without thinking about what you can gain from it. This exercise develops your ability to see the other person as an end in themselves, not as a means to satisfy your needs. And again, here's the paradox. When a woman feels she is valued for who she truly is, not for what she can offer, she naturally feels drawn to this rare form of interaction. In a world where most people approach with self-serving intentions, your ability to genuinely appreciate, without expectations, will instantly set you apart from the crowd. The fourth principle I want you to practice daily is mental tranquility, or what the Stoics called ataraxia. In a world of explosive reactions and uncontrolled emotions, few qualities are as attractive in a man as the ability to maintain serenity even in challenging situations. For 5 minutes daily, consciously practice cultivating this tranquility through a simple exercise of breathing and contemplation. Breathe deeply and imagine potentially upsetting situations in your relationship. Maybe she takes a long time to reply to a message, cancels a date last minute, or mentions another man's name in conversation. So instead of reacting instinctively with anxiety, jealousy, or anger, practice the Stoic response. Acknowledge the initial emotion without judgment. Remember that your inner peace does not depend on external factors, and consciously choose the most virtuous and balanced response to the situation. Over time, this exercise will develop remarkable emotional stability in you, and I can assure you that few things are as attractive to a woman as a man who maintains his composure and balance even in challenging situations. In a sea of reactive and emotionally unstable men, you will become a safe harbor of tranquility and inner strength. The fifth fundamental Stoic principle for transforming your relationships is the clear distinction between what is under your control and what is not. This principle, most eloquently articulated by Epictetus, is at the heart of Stoic philosophy and has profound implications for how you approach relationships. For 5 minutes daily, practice clearly identifying what is truly under my control in this relationship and what is not. You will quickly discover that the only thing truly under your control are your own actions, thoughts, and reactions. Her feelings for you, her decisions, her responses, none of this is under your direct control. This mental clarity immediately eliminates manipulative and obsessive behaviors born from the illusion that we can or should control the other person. When you deeply accept that you cannot control how she feels about you, but only be the best version of yourself, enormous pressure is removed from the relationship. And here's the twist. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable and focus only on what is within your power, you become infinitely more attractive. Women instinctively sense when a man is trying to manipulate their feelings or behaviors, and this generates natural resistance. In contrast, when she perceives that you completely respect her autonomy, that you are focused only on being your best version without trying to control her, this creates a psychological space where she can naturally draw closer to you. The sixth principle I want you to practice daily is Stoic listening, a form of total presence during communication that will make her feel truly understood, perhaps for the first time in her life. Dedicate 5 minutes daily to practicing deep listening, without interruptions, without judgments, without formulating responses while she is still speaking, without distractions of any kind. I'll be direct. Most men are terrible listeners. We are conditioned to think we always need to have the answers, solve problems, impress with our opinions. But often, what women desire most is not someone to solve their problems, but someone who truly listens to them, who understands them on a deep level. During these 5 minutes of daily practice, You can simulate this deep listening by imagining a conversation with her, or you can apply the principle in real interactions. The important thing is to develop your ability to be fully present, to truly absorb not only her words, but the feelings behind those words. When you develop this capacity for deep listening, you instantly become different from 95% of the men she has ever met. The feeling of being truly heard and understood is so rare and so powerful that it naturally awakens in her the desire to be closer to you. It's no exaggeration to say that this simple skill can be the difference between being just another guy in her life and becoming someone truly special. The seventh Stoic principle I want you to practice daily is the acceptance of the present moment. The Stoics deeply understood that much of our suffering comes not from reality itself, but from our resistance to that reality, from our unmet expectations, from our fantasies about how things should be. For 5 minutes daily, practice radical acceptance of her exactly as she is, not as you wish she were. Abandon your projections, your fantasies, your attempts to mold her according to your desires. See her clearly and honestly, with all her qualities and imperfections, and practice accepting her completely. When you genuinely accept her as she is without trying to change her, something miraculous happens. You create a space of emotional safety where she can be authentically herself. In a world where most people are constantly trying to change others, your capacity for genuine acceptance will be a rare oasis. And here's the final paradox. The more you accept her exactly as she is, without trying to change her, the more space you create for natural transformation to occur. Real change never comes from external coercion, but from the internal desire that arises when we feel truly accepted and safe. To illustrate the power of these principles, let me share some historical and contemporary examples of men who unconsciously applied these Stoic practices in their relationships. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers and emperor of Rome, was known for his devotion to his wife Faustina, despite rumors of her infidelity. Instead of reacting with possessive jealousy or control, he chose to focus on his own virtues and treat his wife with respect and dignity, regardless of the circumstances. In more recent times, public figures like Barack Obama demonstrate many of these Stoic principles in his relationship with Michelle. The way he speaks of her with genuine respect and admiration, without putting on a show to score points, perfectly reflects the principle of pure intention we discussed. His ability to maintain calm and composure, even in the tensest moments of his presidency, also exemplifies the mental tranquility that the Stoics valued so highly. In the business world, Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors of all time, attributes much of his relationship success to his capacity for deep listening. He often mentions how his ability to truly hear what others have to say, without interrupting or judging prematurely, has been a differentiator in both his personal and professional relationships. All these men, consciously or unconsciously, incorporated Stoic principles into their lives and relationships, and the results speak for themselves. It's not about status, fame, or wealth. Many powerful men have terrible relationships. It's about the inner quality that these principles develop, a quality that transcends external circumstances and creates genuine, lasting connections. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work in practice in the real world, with real women? And the answer is an emphatic yes. In fact, these principles are even more effective today, in an era of superficiality and disposable relationships, than they were in antiquity. Think about the current relationship landscape. We live in a world of dating apps, where people are discarded with a simple swipe left. A world where communication has been reduced to emojis and short messages. A world where most men are desperately trying to impress with material possessions, social status, or memorized pickup techniques. In this context, a man who has genuinely cultivated Stoic virtues instantly stands out. His emotional self-sufficiency makes him intriguingly different from most men starved for validation. His ability to be fully present when he is with her, but also completely comfortable when he is alone, creates a dynamic of natural attraction that no seduction technique could replicate. But let me be clear, these Stoic practices are not manipulative techniques disguised as philosophy. The fundamental difference lies in the intention. If you are practicing these principles merely as a means to get a specific woman, you have already failed to grasp the essence of Stoicism. These practices are about genuinely becoming a better, more virtuous, more centered person. And the attraction this generates is merely a natural consequence, not the primary goal. It's also important to understand that these principles don't work like an instant magic formula. Stoicism is a philosophy of life, not a quick trick. The 5 minutes of daily practice I'm proposing are just the starting point, the seed that, with time and dedication, will grow to become an integral part of who you are. Think of these 5 minutes as mental training, similar to physical training. You don't develop an athletic body by doing just 5 minutes of exercise once in your life. It's consistent practice, day after day, that gradually transforms your body. Similarly, it's the daily practice of these Stoic principles that will gradually transform your mind and, consequently, your relationships. And just like with physical training, you'll start noticing results relatively quickly. Perhaps within the first few weeks, you'll notice subtle changes in how you react to situations, in the quality of your presence, in your listening skills. The women in your life will also start noticing these changes, perhaps without being able to pinpoint exactly what's different about you, but sensing that there's something new, something deeper and more authentic in how you relate. But the deepest and most lasting results will come over time, as these principles cease to be conscious. Practices you perform for 5 minutes daily and begin to integrate naturally into who you are. It's when emotional self-sufficiency, moderation, pure intention, mental tranquility, clarity about what's under your control, deep listening, and acceptance of the present moment become second nature, that the true transformative power of Stoicism fully manifests in your relationships. And when that happens, you will not only become naturally more attractive to women, but you will also develop the ability to form and maintain deep, meaningful, and lasting relationships. Relationships based not on desperate need or power games, but on mutual respect, genuine understanding, and profound acceptance. Let me now share some specific practical exercises for each of the 7 principles we discussed. Exercises you can easily incorporate into your 5 daily minutes of Stoic practice. To develop emotional self-sufficiency, try this exercise. Whenever you feel anxiety or insecurity regarding a woman, pause for a moment and ask yourself, if she completely left my life today, would I still be able to have a full and meaningful life? Answer honestly and remind yourself of all the sources of meaning in your life that are independent of her. This simple mental exercise reaffirms your inherent completeness and drastically reduces needy behaviors that push women away. To cultivate Stoic moderation in communication and presence, adopt this practice. After each significant interaction with her, consciously create space by giving yourself and her time to process the experience. Don't text immediately after seeing her. Don't be constantly available. Dedicate yourself to other important areas of your life. This balance between closeness and distance creates a natural attraction dynamic that no artificial technique could replicate. To develop pure intention, practice this exercise daily. Identify 3 specific qualities you genuinely admire in her, qualities you would appreciate even if she could never offer you anything in return. Reflect on these qualities with sincere gratitude, without any expectation of reciprocity. This exercise trains your mind to value people for who they are, not for what they can do for you. To cultivate mental tranquility, try this visualization exercise. Imagine challenging scenarios that would normally trigger intense emotional reactions. She doesn't reply to your messages for hours, mentions an ex-boyfriend, cancels plans. Now, visualize yourself responding to these situations with calm and balance, not with emotional reactivity. This mental exercise creates new neurological pathways that over time become your automatic responses. To practice the distinction between what is and isn't under your control, do this simple exercise. Draw 2 columns on a piece of paper. In the first, list everything genuinely under your control in this relationship. In the second, list everything that is not. You'll realize the first column is surprisingly short, your actions, thoughts, reactions, while the second is extensive, her feelings, her decisions, etc. Meditating daily on this distinction will eliminate much of the anxiety and controlling behaviors that poison relationships. To develop Stoic listening, practice this exercise. In your daily conversations with anyone, challenge yourself not to interrupt, not to mentally formulate your response while the other person is still speaking, and to ask at least one genuine question based on what was said before expressing your own opinion. This simple practice will revolutionize your capacity for deep connection, not just with women, but with everyone in your life. Finally, to cultivate acceptance of the present moment, try this daily meditation. Think of an aspect of her that you have resisted fully accepting, perhaps a personality trait or behavior you secretly wish to change. Now, consciously release that resistance and visualize yourself, completely accepting that characteristic, not with resignation, but with genuine acceptance. This exercise develops your capacity for unconditional love, perhaps the most transformative force in any relationship. Imagine yourself consistently practicing these exercises for 5 minutes daily. Imagine yourself gradually incorporating these Stoic principles into every aspect of your life. The transformation will not only be in your relationships, but in your entire being. By adopting this ancient philosophy and applying it consistently in your daily life, you will become the kind of man that naturally attracts quality women. Not because you learned superficial pickup techniques, but because you genuinely developed inner qualities that are profoundly attractive. Inner strength, emotional stability, authentic presence, capacity for genuine connection. You will notice that not just one specific woman will yield to this new version of you. You will perceive a change in all your relationships, with friends, family, colleagues. Stoic philosophy, when truly embodied, transforms not just your love life, but your entire experience as a human being. And here is the deepest truth. Even if these principles brought you no external benefit in terms of attraction or relationships, they would still be valuable in themselves. Because ultimately, the true gift of Stoicism is not what it helps you achieve, but who it helps you become. A man of virtue, balance, and wisdom. A man who has found the inner fortitude that transcends external circumstances. A man capable of genuine and deep connections. So I am challenging you now. Dedicate just 5 minutes of your day every day to practicing these Stoic principles. Make it a non-negotiable commitment, like brushing your teeth or taking a shower. 5 minutes to train your mind just as you train your body. 5 minutes that, over time, will fundamentally transform not only your relationships, but your entire life experience. Start today. Not tomorrow, not when you're ready, but today. Choose one of the exercises I shared and dedicate 5 minutes to consciously practicing it. Tomorrow, choose another. Continue like this, alternating between the different exercises or focusing on the one that resonates most strongly with you at the moment. As you advance on this Stoic journey, always remember that the ultimate goal is not to manipulate or control others, but to cultivate inner virtue and authenticity. The deep and meaningful relationships that arise naturally are merely consequences of this inner transformation, not its primary objective. In a world of superficial techniques and quick fixes, you are choosing a different path, the path of genuine inner growth, profound transformation, authentic virtue. It's a path that demands commitment and consistency, but one that offers rewards infinitely transcending any superficial benefit manipulative techniques could provide. She will yield not to your tactics or techniques, but to the authenticity of the connection that only a man of genuine virtue can offer. She will yield not because you conquered her, but because she found in you something rare and precious, a man who has cultivated himself with the same dedication as the ancient philosophers, a man whose presence offers not just momentary attraction, but the possibility of a genuinely transformative connection. 5 minutes a day, an ancient practice, a profound transformation. This is the Stoic path to truly meaningful relationships, and I invite you to begin this journey today.